Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine you're, really gripped by a drama. You're captivated by the family stuff, those twists that just make you go, wow.
Hmm.
But what if we could sort of peel back the layers? Really understand why certain moments hit home? Or maybe why they fell a bit flat for people?
Right. Get behind the curtain.
Exactly. So today we're doing something a bit different. We're taking a deep dive into a really fascinating, detailed review of episode 8 of Ladli. You might know it.
Popular one.
Our mission isn't just about the plot, though. It's about pulling out the key insights into, well, the art of telling a story, how characters grow, and how a show can reflect, or sometimes miss, those really subtle human relationship things.
Hmm.
You've given us this fantastic breakdown, and we want to help you, the listener, see what really stands out about the craft involved.
Exactly. And what's so interesting here is how this review, it's like a lens, isn't it? It lets us look closely at all the different layers in the episode.
Layers like,
Well, everything from that first big accusation, to the whole family honor theme. And we
mm,
can really look at how the way it was done, the execution, affects how you connect with it emotionally.
makes sense.
So we'll dig into the specific plot points. Yeah. The character interactions and what the critics actually said worked, and maybe what could have been more impactful.
And connecting it outwards.
Yeah, if we think bigger picture, it's really about understanding how these stories, these narratives, actually shape how we see social issues, maybe even our own lives.
Okay, let's jump in. So the episode kicks off with a real bang, right?
It certainly tries to.
We're thrown straight into this accusation. Ishfaq, he's pointing the finger at Parvez, his future son-in-law.
Over a check and alleged blackmail.
Right. But then Parvez says, no, Nadzo gave me the check. She wanted out of the engagement. So as a viewer, you're immediately like, wait, what? What's the actual truth here?
It's definitely designed to create that immediate confusion, that mystery.
Yeah, I hear a but coming.
Well, the review makes a really sharp point here. While the aim was clearly confusion, it apparently fell a bit short on the emotional impact.
How so?
The critique mentioned a lack of, let's say, intensity in the character's emotions. Parvey's defense, for instance, came across as surprisingly weak.
Not what you'd expect.
And Ishfaq's own inner turmoil, his struggle, it wasn't really explored deeply enough in that moment.
Oh, okay.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How vital it is for characters to actually show us that internal conflict, especially right at the start, for a scene to really land.
Yeah, otherwise that bang feels a bit empty.
A little hollow, exactly.
That's a great point. You're waiting for that gut punch, and maybe it just wasn't quite there.
Mm,
And then from that initial sort of murky conflict, we see the fallout pretty quickly.
the ripple effect.
Carvey's family is naturally pretty upset, agitated, and Ishfaq himself starts having doubts about Nazo.
Yeah, second-guessing her intentions.
It's such a classic example of how fast distrust can just, eat away at the foundation of relationships.
And that erosion, it's not just plot. It's a key way to build tension, right?
Right.
But the review points out a really significant imbalance here.
Which is,
The near total absence of Natso's side of things. Her perspective.
yeah, we don't hear from her much in that initial mess.
Exactly. Think about it. If we'd known her thoughts, her fears, maybe pressures she was under, the whole balance of the story and your understanding of why things are so tense could have been much, much richer.
That makes total sense. It's like a missing piece of the puzzle.
It really is. It reminds you how crucial multiple viewpoints are. In stories, in life, really. You can't grasp the depth of the problem without hearing from everyone involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When a key voice is silent, it leaves a big hole for the audience to fall into. But, okay, amidst all this rising tension, the review did spotlight a really powerful moment.
Ah, yes, the Sundus scene.
The dialogue between Sindus and her mother. Sindus basically just stands up and says, look, I want to make my own life decisions.
Oh.
Yeah, very bold.
And that portrayal, a young woman finding her voice, wanting autonomy, it was really well done. Really resonated, according to the review.
And what's interesting is why it resonated so much. The review called it the most powerful and realistic scene in the whole episode.
High praise.
Very. Because it managed to deliver a clear social message, didn't it? About respect, about consent, about talking openly in relationships.
Without being preachy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It showed it through authentic character interaction. This moment is a great example of how drama can tackle big social themes successfully, just by letting a character's journey speak for itself. Real narrative skill there.
Yeah, a single scene doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Now, while that scene hit the mark, the episode also brought in some new people.
Right. Abrish and Rhythm.
The review mentioned Risham's behavior was noticeable, but overall, these new characters didn't really make a huge splash. They felt a little disconnected.
A bit peripheral at this stage, maybe.
Yeah, and this touches on something important. Narrative efficiency. Every element, every character ideally needs a purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
The critique here suggests that if these characters are meant to be important later, their introduction could have been stronger, more impactful.
How so?
Well, it's about making sure everything introduced serves a clear function right away, or at least hooks your interest, keeps you engaged. Otherwise, new faces can just feel like, well, clutter.
Clutter. That's a good word. If they're not, pulling their weight narratively from the get-go, you do start wondering why they're taking up screen time.
Precisely. It can dilute the focus from the main story threads.
Okay, so after the new folks, the episode wraps up. And it seems like a positive note on the surface.
The announcement?
Yeah, Parvez's father suddenly announces his daughter Miriam's academic success and also his son Omar's marriage. It's meant to be happy, celebratory.
Right.
But apparently for some viewers it felt quite sudden, abrupt even.
And this is where context, or rather the lack of it, becomes really important.
How do you mean?
The review itself asks a key question. This relationship between Miriam and Omar, was it something we already knew about? Had it been established at all?
So there was no lead up.
Apparently not much, or not enough. And without that background, without laying the groundwork, it's hard for the audience to feel a real emotional connection to this sudden good news.
Right. You don't feel invested in it.
Exactly. It makes the ending feel less earned, maybe a bit tacked on, like they needed a happy beat rather than something that grew naturally from the story. You're left thinking, wait, where did that come from?
Yeah. An unearned ending can definitely leave you feeling a bit unsatisfied.
I really can.
So we've really dug into this episode 8 review, haven't we? We've gone from that confusing blackmail plot
Yeah, the ambiguity.
to that fantastic moment with Sundus claiming her independence. And we even touched on how new characters and maybe abrupt endings affect the whole experience for you, the viewer. What really stands out to me is how a drama, even when it's tackling big, important family and social issues, can sometimes, stumble a bit on the emotional depth or maybe the narrative balance.
Sure, it happens.
But it can still deliver incredibly powerful messages through certain specific, really well-crafted scenes, like the Sundus moment.
Absolutely. And if we zoom out again, connect this to the bigger picture.
Right.
This whole exercise is such a great reminder, isn't it? That in any story, whether it's a TV drama like Ladli or, frankly, the stories playing out in our own lives, the details really, really matter.
Every little thing.
Every single thing, every emotion a character shows or doesn't show, every perspective that's missing, every seemingly small choice about how the story's told.
Mm-hmm.
It can completely change the overall message and how we connect with it.
Yeah.
And maybe that leaves us with a question for you to think about. How much does that unexpressed emotion or that missing viewpoint in a story you're watching, or even maybe in your own life, your own interactions, how much does that affect your understanding and your connection? And what can reflecting on that teach us about just how important clear communication and maybe empathy really are? Something to mull over until our next deep dive.